Right now, there are almost 8 billion people on Earth. We are everywhere, in deserts and on mountains, in freezing places and burning ones. We have even walked on the moon. It can feel like humans have always been here, and always will be. Unstoppable. But that is a lie we tell ourselves. The truth is darker and stranger. More than once, our entire kind came within a breath of vanishing from the Earth completely. Not a country, not a city, all of us. This is the story of the disasters that almost erased humanity, and the tiny groups of survivors who are the only reason you are alive to hear it. Let us start with a strange clue, a clue hidden inside your own body. For a species spread all over the world, humans are bizarrely alike. If you compare any two people anywhere on Earth, they are almost identical on the inside. Far more alike than you would ever expect. Here is how strange that is. A single group of chimpanzees living on one hillside in Africa has more variety inside them than all 8 billion humans put together. Think about that. Every human of every color from every corner of the planet is more closely related than a few dozen chimps in one forest. There is only one good reason for that. At some point, there were almost none of us left. We all squeezed through a tiny door, and we are all the children of the few who made it. Scientists call it a bottleneck, and it has happened more than once. The first one may be almost too old to imagine. By reading the story written in our genes, some scientists believe that around 900,000 years ago, something terrible happened to our ancestors. Their numbers collapsed. At the worst of it, there may have been only around 1,000 humans able to have children. 1,000 in the entire world. And it was not one bad year or one bad lifetime. They stayed that low for over 100,000 years. For longer than our whole modern story, the ancestors of every person alive today could have fit inside a single small town. One disaster, one bad stretch of luck, and there would be no humans at all. No you, no me, nothing. But they held on, and slowly, the numbers crept back up. Then came the mountain that tried to finish the job. About 74,000 years ago, on an island in what is now Indonesia, a volcano named Toba exploded. This was not a normal eruption. It was one of the largest the Earth has seen in millions of years. It threw so much ash and rock into the sky that it blotted out the sun. For years afterward, the world grew colder and darker. Ash fell like gray snow across the land. Plants struggled to grow. The animals that ate the plants began to die, and the humans who ate the animals began to starve. Some scientists think this long, cold darkness pushed us right back to the edge again. Once more, our numbers may have crashed to just a few thousand people, scattered and hungry, watching the sky stay gray. We do not know every detail, but we know this. Whoever lived through it lived through a winter that lasted years, with the sun half hidden, and somehow they did not give up. And the cold was not done with us. For much of human history, the Earth was gripped by ice ages. Vast sheets of ice, thicker than mountains, crawled down over the land. Whole parts of the world that are green and warm today were buried under frozen white. Imagine being a small band of humans then. No warm house, no thick coat from a store, no heating, just fire and animal skins and each other. The winters were brutal beyond anything most of us will ever feel. And they did not last for months. They lasted for thousands of years. To survive, people had to be clever. They followed the animals. They learned to make warm clothes from hides. They huddled in caves and kept the fire alive at all costs, because to let the fire die was to die yourself. Then there was the water, or rather, the lack of it. Long ago, in Africa, where our story began, the rains sometimes failed for ages. The land dried up, rivers turned to dust, green places became deserts. During one of these terrible dry spells, more than 100,000 years ago, our ancestors may have been pushed all the way to the southern edge of Africa, to the coast. There, with the land behind them dead and dry, they found one last source of food: the sea. They learned to pry shellfish from the rocks, to eat what the tide left behind. A small group, clinging to a thin strip of beach at the bottom of the world, eating mussels and clams, waiting for the rains to return. That beach may have been one of the last places humans existed at all. A final hiding spot where the thread of our whole kind hung as thin as a fishing line. And as if the cold and the hunger and the darkness were not enough, we were not even the top of the food chain. For most of our history, humans were prey. We were not the biggest, or the strongest, or the fastest. We had no claws, no fangs, no thick hide. In the dark, the big cats hunted us. Hyenas stalked the edges of our camps. Great birds of prey snatched up our children. We have found ancient skulls with the marks of leopard fangs still in them. We were food, and we knew it. That fear of the dark that still lives in you, that little jump when you hear a noise at night, is an old gift from ancestors who were right to be afraid. So how? How did such a soft, slow, weak animal survive all of this? The volcano, the ice, the drought, the hunters in the dark? The answer is not that we were strong, it is that we were together. A single human is an easy meal, but a group of humans standing shoulder to shoulder around a fire, sharpening spears, sharing food, watching each other's backs, is something predators learned to fear. We survived because we shared. When one person found food, the whole group ate. When one person learned something, everyone learned it. When the strong protected the weak, more of the weak lived to have children. We were not saved by claws or speed. We were saved by each other. And we were saved by the small bands who, in the worst moments, simply refused to lie down and die. So think about what that means for you. Every single disaster that could have ended us, we squeezed past. The volcano, the ice, the endless droughts, the teeth in the dark. Every one of them we survived by the narrowest margin you can imagine, sometimes down to our last 1,000 people. And that is why we are all so alike. That is why a person born in one corner of the world is the close cousin of a person born in another. We are not strangers. We are one family, all descended from the same handful of survivors who held on when everything was trying to wipe us away. You are the end of an unbroken line of people who should not have made it and did. Every one of your ancestors looked disaster in the face. The cold, the dark, the hunger, the hunters, and not one of them, not a single one, in 900,000 years, gave up before passing life on. The thread came so close to breaking, so many times, but it never did, and here you are.